Hey everyone, Team Midlands Choice Realty, it's your broker in charge, Jonathan Howdeshell, agent extraordinaire. Here I'm out marketing, doing a little prospecting here in my neighborhood, Lake Carolina, up in the Northeast. I wanted to stop a little bit and touch on one of our broker topics. In the market, you'll be working with your buyers, working with your sellers, doing proper consultations, working on property reports, doing some CMAs. Well, we have very specific areas of expertise that our license allows us to, give advice on to our clients, work with their best interest in mind at all times. One of the key components is there are other professionals always involved in the transaction as well. You'll find attorneys, you'll find lenders, you'll find possibly outside professionals that need to give your client some advice on financial services, taxes, 1031 exchanges. There's all types of different things out there that we have to defer to and let our clients know that they're responsible to understand their responsibilities with other professionals involved as well. With that said, as good agents, we can help out too and clear up things up front so less surprises come later in the deal. We want to make sure our folks are always ready, one step ahead. One of the topics is understanding settlement statements and closing disclosures. These typically come from the attorneys, from the lenders, and of course we will get copies of them to discuss with our clients. I'd like to go into more about the settlement statement or final CD on the buyer's side so you can have that conversation up front, set up expectations, work towards a successful closing. So let's switch it up. Let's go inside. Let's get into the details. Come on, let's. All right. We're back inside. Listen, I want to try to keep this video somewhat short, but I think it's important that we touch on the settlement statement, the closing disclosure. We're going to see these things throughout the process. We definitely see the details at the end. The CD comes from the lender typically directly to the borrower. The settlement statement is going to be typically thrown out after the lender and the attorney settle. You'll get a copy of that as an agent. If you don't see it coming in your inbox, reach out to the attorney, request a copy of it before closing so you can review all these important line item breakdowns for your buyer clients. A lot of buyers, they're looking at what's my monthly payment and what's my down payment. And then when they're told about all these closing costs up front, they kind of acknowledge it, they understand it. And then as the 30 days goes on or 40 days goes on, they kind of forget what all these fees are at closing. So there are a lot of fees that come up. There are lender-based fees, right? There are attorney fees. Some of those attorney fees are done on the request of the lender. We have escrow accounts that have to be set up for taxes and insurance. You have any down payments that you put up front. You have any seller credits that will show up on the statements. You'll have any earnest money deposits that you put on there. So when you get down to the end, you really see all the details. Now, as an agent, you want to review these things just so you can kind of check mark in your mind. Does anything look off? Are these the expected numbers that our clients were looking forward to? Has much changed since the beginning? Is the HOA have a large capital contribution just to join the HOA? Sometimes that takes people by surprise. So you want to know that. And so it'll all be broken down for you, and you need to be prepared to understand them. And it's best if you review settlement statements as you gain experience from each transaction. So when you have your buyer consultations and you're just getting started, you talk about these things and you say, here's, I'm not the lender, I'm not the attorney, I'm not the home inspector, I'm not your accountant, I'm not all these things. My professional license allows me to talk about real estate, give you my professional advice on real estate, but I do know these things, I do have experience in these things, and let me kind of tell you what to expect. You can do that just so that they don't have anything left kind of unacknowledged Some lenders are good at giving the breakdowns, others are not. And so we want to make sure they have all their expectations met and there's no surprises, right? Okay. So I'm going to put a link below with some other attorneys or other brokers doing YouTube videos with the kind of line by line items, because it can take a long time to go through all that. But just realize you'll get a balance sheet before closing. You need to review it. You have credits, you have debits, you have the seller, you have the borrower. And so when we're working with buyers, let them know, let's review it. You're going to have your contract sales price. You're going to have any seller credits. You're going to have their earnest money credit. You're going to have all those things that you've kind of set up front. You're also going to have HOA prorations, tax prorations. You're going to have maybe a capital contribution from the HOA. You're going to be getting all your lender-based fees, which could be origination fee, underwriting fee, appraisal fee. We pull your credit report, all those sort of things. You could have some prepaid interest on there you weren't ready for. You could be buying down a better interest rate, which you forgot. You're spending $2,500 on that. So all those things pop up and you see them, and you might go, oh my goodness, look at this number. So be prepared. There should be no surprises, and there shouldn't be much change from the original good faith estimate that the lender gave in the initial days leading up to house hunting, hopefully. Okay, you also have your escrows, which is usually you'll pay a first year of homeowner's insurance, and then they'll collect a couple months of homeowner's insurance, and you'll collect a couple months of property taxes. Those taxes get paid at the end of each year, so they cushion an escrow account, and then the lender pays that for your borrower so that they never have to have a tax lien or an insurance issue. The lender will not allow that. You do have the attorney's fees, which is usually a base rate to conduct the closing. There's recording fees. There's title searches that have to be done. This is on the direction of a lender, most likely. Make sure that property is clear to move from one ownership to another. There's no cloud on title. There's no extra liens that no one expected. So you have little $125 here, $50 here, $295 there. These are all part of the title search, title packages. There's also title insurance that the lender makes the borrower pay for them, the lender. That could be $1,000. And then it's recommended that, of course, any borrower will get their own title insurance policy, which is significantly lower, maybe $200 or $300. So that all adds up. You will have your escrows, like I said. You will have your recording fees. You will have any other maybe invoices from work being done on the property. You'll have all the breakdowns of all the costs. It can add up significantly. I want to wind this down so this doesn't drone on and on. Let me know if you want to sit down and look at any of these settlement statements. I'm going to put some screenshots of a typical settlement statement for a $335,000 house. That's a very common price point right now. I'm not going to have any client information on there. It'll just be kind of screenshots of the actual forms so you can see what I'm talking about. You need to get to know this information. Study each closing you have, review all your settlement statements, talk to your borrowers, talk to your clients, make sure that there's no surprises. All right, thanks for watching. If you see this video, you'll see the YouTube channel. I have a couple YouTube channels for real estate. This one's going to have some other broker topics, which I like to call this, and just allows me to reach out. We don't have to all be called into a room to have a meeting. I know that's not on everyone's top of list, so this is a way I can communicate. This is a way I can express some thoughts, some important ideas I think each of our agents should know. Team Midlands Choice Realty. Things are heating up. Our team's growing a little bit. I'm always here to help. I can meet you one-on-one. Call me, text me, email me. I'm always available. Thanks so much. Go out there, happy selling.